Hello and welcome. I hope you are having a great day. In this video, we are going to understand a very important ensemble technique called boosting. Okay, let's begin. So earlier we have seen bagging. So what was bagging? Bootstrap aggregation. So in that we understood bagging and random forest and extra forest, right? Extra trees, random forest, extra trees. Those were bagging based methods or algorithms. In this video we'll understand boosting, but what did bagging do and what boosting does differently, we'll contrast that. So in bagging we saw that we trained multiple strong or overfit models, okay, which were high variance, and then we average them out. We and that could be done in parallel because those trees can be trained in parallel, each was a different tree, and then we average them out, and the averaging brought the variance down. Okay, finally whatever model we got, that was like which was that had moderate variance. Okay, and that generalized well because decision trees have a tendency to overfit. So that was our bagging. Multiple overfit high variance models, average out together, club together, and then finally the net variance was reduced. That was bagging technique for you. Okay, what does boosting do? Boosting does something similar but in a different way. Similarly, we can train many weak models. So earlier they were overfit models, high variance. Now we can train high bias models, very simple models, okay, underfit or high bias models, and we can do them sequentially. Why sequentially? So we train one model and we get some error, and the next model that we trained, it will only be trained on the remaining error. So earlier, say if the label was, say for example, you have to predict say 100. Okay, that is the actual yi, and the first is a very simple model, it predicts 50. So now the error is 100 minus 50 is equal to 50. So the next model that we will train, for that the target will only be 50. That's what it does, and then it will be sequential model. In bagging, all the models trained in parallel. Okay, but here since we are training on the error of the previous model, it has to be done sequentially. Okay, it's just a reverse logic. Earlier it was high variance models, train in parallel, average them together, and then get a moderate variance model. Here we are doing high bias, very simple, oversimplified models, and then we train them sequentially to finally get a moderate bias, and variance will always be there because decision trees, they fit very well. But since they are simple, so they'll also have low variance also. Okay. So what does it do? Model sequentially such that each new model corrects the errors of the previous ones to reduce the bias. Okay, so there was some bias, very simple model was there. There was some bias, so the next one will train on the remaining bias, remaining simplicity, remaining error, and then sequentially we we reduce the bias, and the models become more and more complex. High bias means very simple model, and when we reduce the bias, we increase the complexity. Okay, that's what it does. Let's see it formally. Boosting, it's an ensemble learning approach where multiple weak learners, typically simple models like very shallow decision trees or decision stumps. Okay, decision stumps are like one root node and two leaves. This is like a cricket stump, right? Three wickets. So that's why it's called decision stump. Okay, are sequentially combined to create a single strong predictive model. Okay, how there are different ways of doing that. So when we learn, we will understand how. But this is the core principle is that each subsequent model focuses on correcting the errors made by its predecessors. So there will be a very simple model. It will learn some part of the from the data, and then the next model will come. It will check. Okay, what is the error? Okay, I just need to fix this error now. I don't need to check about everything. So they can be very simple decision trees or whatever models they can be. Ensembling is a technique. This is decision tree based, but it can be used with other kinds of machine learning models too. Okay, let's see an example. Okay, so we have, say for example, you have a weak learner one. Okay, it is training on some criteria to create a decision system, and then whatever is the error, the next model will train on that error. Okay, there will be a next weak learner. So these are very simple models, weak learner, and then it will create a very simple decision tree kind of decision stem. And then each one learns on the error, and finally we get many models like that, and then we club the outputs. Okay, so we club all these models together, we sum them all together to get a strong prediction. All of them are very simple, but they're looking at different parts of the data, different logic, okay, from the same data. And then finally, when we combine all of them sequentially, because it is correcting the error. So for example, if the error was 100, we started with 100. So the first model, it gets like, okay, the value is 50. So what is the net remaining? So this is the target. So the first model, it predicted 50. So what is remaining? 100 minus 50, 50. So the second model will come now. I'll train. So there will be some logic, some decision tree will be there, and then it will also have some error. So it will train on 50. So now say it predicts like 30. So now what is remaining? 50 minus 30, that is equal to 20. The third model, now it has to train only on 20, and so on. Okay, that's what it does. So the error for the target for the next one is the remaining error of what earlier one has done. It is not going to train on the complete. This is not, the 100 is not the target, and gradually the error will decrease and the model will become robust, and it will be a very strong prediction, because finally all the error will be gone or very close to zero. That's the whole idea. How do we do it? There are different ways of doing it. We'll see the algorithms. Okay. So why is boosting better? Because it achieves better predictive performance, because it actively reduces bias by learning from past mistakes. So whatever the earlier model made mistakes, it learns from that past mistakes and making it ideal for achieving state of the art results. And all these famous algorithms like XGBoost will learn, like GBM. These are like industry standards for very big tabular data. Okay, billions of rows and columns. Okay, thousands of columns. It can work very well on this. And this is like XGBoost is a very famous library. Then Microsoft's Light GBM. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what are the popular boosting algorithms? So we'll see adaptive boosting, AdaBoost. This is old, but I'll cover it so that you know. And then we have gradient boosting machines, GBMs. Okay, so what is the gradient and all these concepts you'll understand. And all these are advanced GBMs, and which is currently industry standard, which is used in the industry. XGBoost, this is very popular in Kaggle and all these competitions. XGBoost, CatBoost, Light GBM, all these are very widely used in in Kaggle. Okay, Light GBM and then CatBoost. Light GBM was invented by Microsoft, and then this was by Yandex. This was a research paper by a guy from the University of Washington, if I remember correctly. So we'll cover all of this in detail one by one in separate video. Okay, so I hope the basics of boosting is clear, and in subsequent videos we'll dive deeper and get to know boosting concept even more. Okay, so that's all for this video. Thanks for watching this video. In next video we'll understand adaptive boosting algorithm. Okay, so bye for now.